Hello, Walkwood Furniture family, and welcome back. Today we'll be talking about this beauty here. I literally found this piece outside of Walkwood Furniture's warehouse, and I passed it up for about 3 weeks. Eventually, I decided on rescuing her and giving it a new life. It was missing some hardware, had a lot of repairs to be made, but it was okay for me. I could see the potential hidden inside. Follow me on this journey as we do repairs, make some upgrades, modernize this piece, and get it looking fabulous. First step was to remove all the existing hardware. I made sure to bag up every knob and screw, just in case. But I already knew I was going to replace them with elegant crystal drawer pulls. Once the hardware was off, I filled in all those extra holes I didn't need using Bondo all-purpose putty. I cleaned the entire piece using Crud Cutter pre-paint cleaner. This cuts through dirt, grease, and residue, ensuring the paint or stain will properly bond later. I always follow up with clean water to remove any leftover cleaner. I went on to remove the decorative spindles from the front for a modern look, reshape the base with a jigsaw, and repair the broken back base corner using Bondo. Once cured, I sanded everything smooth. So I wanted to get rid of these spindles to modernize the look. So let me show you the easiest way I found to do it. Step 1 will be to loosen the glue with heat. I used a simple blow dryer to heat up the spindles where they were glued in. The warm air softens the glue, making it much easier to separate without damaging the wood. Step 2, working under the spindles. Once the glue started to loosen, I slid a putty knife and gently worked it back and forth. The key is to keep it flat against the surface so you're lifting the spindle off instead of digging into the wood. Step 3, remove and clean up. As soon as the spindles popped off, I scraped away any leftover glue and gave the surface a quick sand to smooth it out. If there are little holes, I'll fill them in with wood filler before painting. This method keeps the wood intact and saves a lot of time compared to prying or chiseling. Heat plus a putty knife equals the perfect combo for spindle removal. then to transition the piece further, I use my jigsaw and straighten off the bottoms and the sides. And this is my guide for mixing Bondo. I make sure my surface is clean, dry, and sanded. Then I scoop out what I need on the non-purpose surface. And for every golf ball size amount of filler, I add in 1-inch line of hardener. I mix using a spreader to fold and smear until the color is uniform and no streaks. I spread evenly into the repair, slightly overfill so it can be sanded smooth. You only get 3 to 5 minutes before it hardens, so I mix fast and apply right away. When I use quick wood, I clean, dry, and sand my area. Remove any paint or finish around the repairs that I have. I slice off only the amount that I'll be needing. Then I roll and knead that until the color is uniform. Usually my working time is around 10 minutes. I press into the chips or cracks or missing details, and then I just shape as needed. It hardens in 15 to 20 minutes. After 1 hour, sand, carve, or paint just like real wood. The body I scuff sand with 220 grit. The drawer interior sand with 150 to 180 grit. For my drawer fronts, I started with 150, then 220 for stain prep. Let's take a look at how it's looking after the first sanding application. Everything's looking pretty good. Got those holes filled, which I will go back later in and dig those out to try to get a closer color to that wood. But as of right now, it's coming along pretty good. And then I went on to priming. I primed the piece using Zinsser Fast Prime. I primed it twice just to cover any bleed through that came through. After my first set of primer, I used a 220 grit and went in and sanded it down evenly and smooth. And then I did the same thing after I primed it the second time, except I went in with a 320 grit, and this gave me a smooth, even base for paint. If you want your furniture finish to last years instead of months, here's why priming is a must. Primer helps the paint stick better, no peeling, no chipping. It blocks stains and tannins from bleeding through, saves you time and money by reducing the coats of paint you need, and it creates a smooth professional finish that you will love. Don't skip the primer, it's your secret weapon for a flawless makeover. This is our first coat of primer, dry. I do see some areas where I know I'm having some bleed through, so I will go back in and apply a second application. So here I'm just showing you guys how it looks after my second coat of primer is put down on here. A much fuller coverage. So I'm definitely ready to go in with my paint after I sand that piece down with that 320 grit just to even that body out and make sure it's looking flawless. Here I'm just getting my chalk paint loaded into the container. I do have a bit of water in there, not too much, maybe 2-3 ounces. And I just want to dilute that chalk paint just a bit, just for a more even flow. So for paint, I sprayed on 2 coats of that Dutch board finish paint in Old Orchard. I thinned it out slightly with some water for smooth spraying and sanded between coats. For my final coat, I went in with the 320 grit for that flawless finish. This paint is really giving a very beautiful coverage. I would strongly recommend it. The coverage on here, that paint is coming out like butter. So what I'm doing here, since I knew I was just going to use the one hose in the middle for my particular design, I wasn't satisfied with those original fills, so I removed them. Created my own filler. I mixed up some sanding dust from the piece that I had used from sanding earlier, and I put that with some wood glue and used that to fill those holes so I could get a closer match to the piece. Then I use my furniture repair kit, touch-up markers, and filler sticks to further blend the repairs. When you're staining furniture, especially softer woods like pine or birch, stains tend to soak in unevenly. That's why you often see those blotchy, streaky spots that ruin the look of your piece. So to avoid that, I use Wax pre-stained wood conditioner on this project. It basically acts like a primer for stain, goes into the wood first, and evens out how the fiber absorbs color. The result, a smoother, more consistent stain that looks professional. Application is quick. Brush it on, let it penetrate for about 5 to 15 minutes, wipe off any excess, smooth little sanding over it, maybe like a 220, and then go right into your staining while it's still fresh. That simple steps make the stain richer, more even, and ensures the final finish is something I'm proud to put the Walkwood name on. After 2 unsuccessful gold leaf attempts, I reset the drawers back by sanding to wood. Then I applied 3 coats of the golden mahogany stain. Wiping between coats, I finished blending the repairs with the marker kit until evenly matched beautifully. This time I kept the gold leaf subtle, just along the dresser edges and along the brass parts of the crystal pulls and keyholes for extra glam. So now I'm taking my brush and I'm brushing on that gold leaf adhesive, and I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, up to 30 minutes or so, just so it can become tacky. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get the gold leaf put on there and get that all brushed off and set up on the dressers. After I experimented with the crystal pools, I decided it just wasn't the right fit for the dresser. Instead, I refinished a set of classic knobs using Rust-Oleum metallic gold spray paint, which gave me a rich uniform shine. The gold hardware ties perfectly with the subtle gold leaf edging and makes the stained drawers pop even more. This was the finishing touch that truly brought the Monroe together. The Monroe blends a creamy chalk painted body, rich golden mahogany drawers, and a glam gold leaf accents. Gold knobs to pull the look in. It's bold, timeless, and ready for a new home. Thanks again for watching. I'm really happy to have you here. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Would you have left the same hardware, the crystal pools, or would you have went with the knobs? Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye.